Move to approve the minutes from the September 12th meeting. I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other comments? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Public comment. Is there any public comments? From anyone
I have nothing
turned
turned in, no.
Anybody like to make any public comments? Okay. First item under business items, public hearing and discussion action on a request for conditional use permit by Jeffrey Lipes and Thomas Hiller to remove the existing garage at 102 West Third Street and rebuild the new, with a new 1,080 square foot garage exceeding the 800 square foot maximum allowed.
Thank you, Chair Zellner. Yes, the applicants are seeking approval of a CUP to create or build a new garage on the site, 102 West Third Street. The reason this is a CUP is because the size they are asking for exceeds the 800 square foot limit by our ordinance. The garage in general is consistent and in general harmony with the surrounding uses, as there are several detached garages along the alleyway that serve the applicant's property. There's an image in your packet, there we go, as shown on the screen. The three-stall garage shown in the image is located on the property immediately southwest of the subject property, meaning there's a very similar garage in very close proximity. So it's what is being proposed is very consistent with other garages in the area. So staff is recommending approval of the attached site plan and attached CUP in their packet and available for questions.
Commission members, any questions? Kevin, any questions?
I don't think so.
Brian?
No, the only thing I have is on the conditional use permit in bullet point 2, I guess, 2B, where it says all parts of the detached garage shall be set back a minimum of 3 feet of any other accessory building or lot line, or be located within 5 feet of an alley line. I read that it has to be within 5 feet of an alley line, but that doesn't, so I just, verbiage confused me on
Yeah,
that
so
one.
actually that comes from our ordinance.
Okay,
It's a condition for accessory structures. No, it's beyond.
beyond 5 feet
Yep.
of the lot line or the alley line, so that's all I had, just clarifying that.
Gary?
No questions.
Joe?
No, looks good.
Chris?
I have no questions on this. I'm just wondering why there's an 800 square foot max.
That's a great question. I believe that's been in our ordinance for quite some time. I don't know what the threshold, what the reason was for that particular square footage, but that's essentially where the line was drawn. Why, I'm not exactly sure.
Brian?
Nope.
Applicants have anything you'd like to add or share?
We're good.
You're good. All right. So, yeah, I had the same question, Chris. We could probably look back and go back and maybe look at this in the future for ordinances.
I was gonna say, Model Ts were small back then, so they didn't need a real big garage.
This is true too. So,
Public hearing.
Yeah.
Public.
we do have a public hearing to do. Thank you. So I'll open the public hearing for anybody who'd like to address us on this issue. And do you have something in writing you said?
I do have an email
Go ahead.
from Ann Lewandowski, 103 West Third Street. Peter and I are delighted to support our neighbors Jeff and Tom's desires for a 1,000 square foot garage. Their new home addition is a beautiful addition to the neighborhood, and their commitment to high standards of architecture should be supported. In addition, our area, as you well know, allows 2 independent dwelling units, making there no obvious reason why the square footage limit should be placed on the garage. We ask that this letter be read aloud at the Planning Commission meeting and/or shared with the commission members prior to the vote to ensure they know the neighbors do support and welcome the new people to Waunakee. Thank you for your time, Ann.
Okay, thank you. Any others? Okay, then I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion approved by Brian Wilson, second by Joe Zutzelberger. Any other comments? Call the question, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, next we have initial consultation, creation of 3-acre parcel for multi-tenant office warehouse use, Frank H. Street, Waunakee Business Park. I believe I need to recuse myself from this one, so I'll need to designate somebody else to run.
So just FYI, there is no action on this item, so this is just a consult, an initial consult. So again, no action will be taken, but if you wish to recuse.
I still need to, so I will do that, and I'm gonna designate Gary to run the meeting.
All right, Tim, do you want to kick this one off?
Sure. St. Somewhere Inc. is seeking feedback on a concept plan to construct 2 buildings on the north side of Frank H. Street, as shown in your packet. The meeting materials are on pages 14 through 26 in the packet. The construction of the buildings would take place in approximately 2 phases. The first building would be about 35,000 square feet. It would be a 2-story office building situated on the northerly portion of the site. And the southerly portion, which would be a latter phase, would be a single-story building, approximately 12,000 square feet, office building with flex space. There are several items of note in the staff memo that the applicant should take into consideration, but I think that Bill Ranget, on behalf of St. Somewhere, is here, perhaps could speak a little bit more, but I'm just really looking for your feedback at such time that that feedback could then be incorporated into a formal submittal. Staff would note the building as proposed on the site plan has quite a bit of glazing, which is consistent with the design standards for the business park. So with that, I don't know if,
I got nothing.
Yeah, sometimes I go out of it and then back down to PDF download. Yep, the Adobe one. And then that should give you the last one right there and see if it pops up. Sometimes I read it. Otherwise.
If you want to answer questions from the podium, you can.
Is this time for questions?
yeah, this is, yeah,
So-
so discussion between you and the applicant, yes.
So the exhibit 5 here, is it fair to say that this is just for the first proposed building, right? Not a future proposed building?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And is the existing lot being split in half then, for
Yes.
part of this?
Yeah, yes.
So it'll be
that,
separated into 2 different lots,
well, currently it's one CSM right now,
okay?
but the developers are coming in to expand Hogan Road and, Hogan Road, Frank H. Road. And once that expansion's done, then it'll be split up into the separate parcels.
Yeah, the 6 will go to 2 3-acre parcels.
Correct.
Right? So is there any concern from plan commissioner or from planning about if there's 2 buildings there in the future, and does that have to be divided up potentially if there's a sale of one building?
Well, the way this is situated, there would be a northerly oriented building and then a southerly. So if it were to be split by our subdivision ordinance, each lot has to abut a public street with a certain amount of footage. So I think the intention really is that both buildings would be accommodated on this 3-acre parcel. Is that
Correct.
correct? Yeah.
Yep.
And it would just be done in phases. So the northerly building, the one I mentioned that's in your packet, with the glazing would be done as part of the first phase. And then at some point, a different SIP would need to come forward to this body for that second building. But both buildings would be on the same lot.
Yeah, and there would be no way to split that in the future.
Pretty tough,
Okay.
yeah.
Unless I could come up with some creative ideas, but.
Sure, street frontage or something, right?
Yeah. But that's not the intention. The intention is to have one lot,
Okay.
unless the planning commission wants something different.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a feel for the lay of the land there. Does that, elevation-wise, how does that look with Highway 19?
So it's quite a bit higher than, I actually have the elevations here. So I had that lot surveyed for a topo on it. I didn't include this in the package, but I can show you. So we're at, on 113, we're at 975, and then down here, we're down to 959. So it's 25 feet drop from top to bottom.
Okay. And that was 2-story, basically? 2 stories above ground?
Yes.
really? What's a insurance building, at 3 stories?
That's 3 full stories.
It's
yeah.
3 above ground,
Yeah,
isn't it?
3 above, yeah. And this is gonna be, this office building will be, I'll be occupying it. I currently am at 1050 Lillian Street, which is where Zen Dog and Luna Pet Resort is at. And I have people that would like to take my space for pet-related businesses. And since that's kind of what I do,
Okay.
I've been looking at this property to build my own, and I'll occupy about between 5,000 and 6,000 square feet of it myself.
Do you have a proposed business or space or businesses going in there, or
Not at this point, no. I've done no marketing of it at all.
is it gonna be multiple units more than likely, rental units
Yes.
in there? Okay.
I don't think I can get lucky enough to have one other tenant.
Right, one big one.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you have any questions?
I guess my only question is, when it comes to parking, is it, how do we allot the spots? It's based on total occupancy?
Well, it depends on the use primarily. So if it's, for example, if it's office use, there's a certain standard for that. If it's a different type of use, warehousing or something, generally that might be based on number of employees, things
Right.
like that. So it really depends on the use. But I think this is generally based on, the calculus was based on an office square footage.
One of the questions is, because you go back to the site plan,
Which one?
I think it's 4. Is it 4? Yeah. So, are you okay with parking along Highway 113? Or do you want the building closer to 113 and the parking behind it? You know, that's one question that has come up. You know, Culver's has parking right up there, so does I don't know if it's a hotel or whatever that it used to, whatever it is now. You know, but then the office building, the old Murphy building, doesn't have parking in the front, it has it in the back.
Waunakee remodel the same way, right?
Waunakee Remodel has a lot of their trucks on 113, well, at 113, and then down the sidewalk, or down the driveway, all the way through, yeah.
It's kind of like the height of the road compared to where the lot is in the parking lot. You know, Waunakee remodeling, you really don't see much
Right.
there because
No,
they
it's-
drop down.
True.
So, that's the only question I had related to parking was, you know, if it's plumbers, electricians, you know, HVAC, which is great, you know, it's a great place. I just want to make sure that there's enough room for trucks to park if they're, you know, multiple service companies in there. I want to make sure they have enough room for their vehicles to park.
In my thought is that the second building, which is closest to Frank H., that would be the building that would have more of the contractors in it.
Yeah. Joe?
I think the discussion is pretty well covered it from my mind.
Have you had any discussions with surrounding businesses?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I guess I would
So there's
suggest
actually-
offering up that courtesy as well.
From, I guess it's SPL's there now, then it's a vacant lot, and then it's this lot, and then there's nothing else. Across the street, we got Mo's.
Okay.
Brian, any?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to decide if I've got a preference one way or the other on the parking question, but I think I'm fine with vehicle parking between 19 and the building.
And I'm assuming a flat roof building,
Yes.
flat roof. And so we'll have requirements as far as screening and,
Yeah.
all of those.
Landscaping, yep. One thing I just called to attention, I think there is a 42-foot setback from the highway, and that may want to look, your site design may have to be tweaked
But-
slightly to incorporate that.
There's only 30 on there,
Yep.
on this drawing, yes.
Okay. All right.
That's
And you-
42 to anything?
I think it's the way it's termed, it's improvements, and.
Okay, so
and
parking,
Parking, I believe, is considered an
Okay.
improvement, so that would probably have to be slid back to meet the 42 feet.
Okay. Anyone else? Tim, any other comments, or, I mean, I think we're good tonight. I think you're just looking for some comments and feedback and,
I'm having soil borings done as soon as the corn's
Yep.
harvested, and then
all right.
go into the full application on it.
Utilities do run near the edge of this property, and so this could be served by existing utilities.
Is this along the piece that's already in?
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Right,
yeah.
it's on the north side of the stretch it's already in. up
Yes.
to- Okay.
The whole 6 acres is.
Yes, yeah, okay. It'll be good to get some action there. That's-
All right, I think we're good.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Guess we should let Chris come back in.
Kristen, come in, Howard.
And I'm glad Chris volunteered for that opportunity. I mean, it's a great, thank you for volunteering, Chris. You can take over.
Waunakee Westport Joint Plan Commission update.
There are no agenda items for tomorrow's Joint Plan Commission meeting, so there is no meeting of the Joint Plan Commission tomorrow.
Okay, so that should be pretty easy for us to discuss. We're done.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, sir. That was good.